Well, welcome to the Empower Room. I'm your host, Rep T, and glad to have you all with us. And let's get ready to do something.
Welcome to the Empower Room for Empowering Moments with your host, Timothy Hughes. Empowering Moments is brought to you by Empower Media, LLC, where we empower you, parents, and the entire community with transformative information to move mind and spirit to a higher state of well-being. So welcome to the Empower Room, and let's get started.
All right. Again, we welcome y'all to Empowering Moments with your host, Reverend Timothy B. Hughes and Div. And glad to have you all with us on this Sunday afternoon edition to Empowering Moments. And we again thank you for being with us. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and we're also on X as well. And we hope that you will go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube page at MPWR Media LLC, and check us out on our Facebook page as well at MPWR Media LLC. All right. So we're going to give you a little information about what Empower Media LLC is all about. We're an empowerment entity, and we have empowered community through social and digital media, book publishing, and we do empowerment sessions as well. We have over 25 years of experience. If you want to learn more about Empower Media, please check us out on our website, which is MPWRMediaLLC1.com. Make sure you put that one at the end. It's MPWRMediaLLC1.com is our website. All right, so please check us out there on the website. All right, and you'll be able to get more information about presentations that are available, the empowerment presentations that are available. We also have a store page where we have publications that are available for you to review as well. So we encourage you to check that out for us, and hope that you will get some empowering information from the website, and feel free to contact us through the website as well. All righty. All right. So in the Empower Room, what we do is we cover three areas of concern. And before I do that, I definitely want to lift up the attempted assassination on yesterday to former President Trump. And I wanted to definitely share our concern in regard to that act on yesterday, and praying for the families that were affected by that, and pray that we can have a civil campaign through the rest of this campaign cycle for sure. All right, so please let's do that. And I also want to lift up Grace New Covenant Church. Their extended building is a location which was formerly Freedom's Chapel, where I happen to be a co-pastor at that location. So I was definitely deeply disturbed to hear about the shooting that took place there earlier today, and so grateful that no one was hurt in that shooting, and that's in Bellefontaine Neighbors, Missouri, there in North County. Just when I saw the news and saw the location, it took me back for sure when I had co-pastored there. So grateful that no one was hurt, definitely, and definitely plan to reach out to the pastor there as well, and let them know that I definitely have them in prayer. And again, grateful that no one was hurt. All right. So getting to what this Empowering Moments is all about. We covered three areas: consciousness, culture, and civic concerns. And during the Summer Breeze series, we've had a wide variety of different topics that we have discussed. And we are so grateful to have with us in the Empower Room today none other than Dr. Vanessa Howard. Dr. Vanessa Howard. All right. So let's bring Dr. Howard on. Hello, Dr. Howard. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So glad to have you with us. I had the pleasure to meet you some years back when we were doing programming with young people through a program called Gear Up in the St. Louis area at the University of Missouri St. Louis campus. And I never did forget how impactful you and your colleague were in the engagement that we have with the young people during the summer program. So I've been following you ever since. So I'm so glad. I'm in Dallas now, but I'm so glad that you were able to join us here in the Empower Room on today.
Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate the opportunity just to get a chance to talk about things that I love.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Dr. Vanessa, and I'm affectionately known as Dr. V. I'm a #1 best-selling author, award-winning educator, and a national speaker that talks about literacy for training for teachers and for students. Being called a doctor is not just a prefix, it's my superpower because it allows me the opportunity to change, learn, and grow and discover and to be the best self that I can be personally for myself and helping out others. I've worked in all different capacities of education, starting off as a janitor, believe it or not.
Really?
I started off as a janitor in the school, and I found myself, the library was one of the areas that I had to clean. So I made sure that I was reading the books, and the librarian said, well, Vanessa, why don't you go back to school to be a teacher? And I was like, no, I don't think I want to work with kids. But I kept going, and once I had kids and started realizing the importance of education, I started volunteering at the daycare. So I started off as a janitor, teacher's aide. I went back to school, worked full time as I was going to school. And I graduated summa cum laude from Harris Stowe State University. Woo-hoo, Hornet.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah. And then I had, from there, I was in every gamut of education, from preschool teacher to classroom teacher, reading specialist, literacy specialist, administrative intern, so forth and so on, principal, district level coordinator. I've been in education over 30 years, so my experience is really expanded. And then I even had opportunity to go back to Harris Stowe to teach and became the director of field and clinical experiences.
Interesting. Man, what a story. Okay, I didn't know that. That's outstanding, man. That is cool. It's interesting that you said janitor. Now I know there's a more sophisticated term that they say now. Environmental workers. Is that what they call it? I believe.
I'm not sure.
Okay, but janitors to me have been some of the most educated folk in the building. Hello, with me working in the school myself, that's for sure. I had some great conversations, dialogues, philosophical conversations with janitors. So I believe we should be making sure that we're having a relationship from the janitor to the principal to the superintendent. Everybody, has something to share and to add. You'll be surprised. The intellect of folk. That's for sure. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, what do you see currently as an educator? Because I believe you've been doing some traveling and throughout the country, pretty much in different parts. And what if you were to assess from your experience, what would you say public education is looking like from your vantage point?
There is a teacher shortage. So when you think about what's in the classroom, there are some people that have no experience in education, don't know the science behind teaching, and they're in the classroom working with kids. I've had opportunity to work on the East Coast a lot. Severe teacher shortage. And so some of the solutions that they came up with was they went to Jamaica and they went to Bahamas and got teachers. So then you think about, you have a accent and you're trying to teach English language to children. So you're teaching those sounds incorrectly. So that's where my job come in, is to help the teachers teach those sounds correctly so that the kids can learn how to decode. But sometimes instructors, they don't understand basic science of reading, of how to teach phonics and how to teach phonological awareness.
Right.
And so that hinders the students' growth. Also, I was in Arkansas, and what they've done there is, like New York, they got certified teachers, but there's such a disparity in teachers that as long as you got a degree, they will hire you. Even in some charter schools, you don't even have to have a degree in education. You don't have to have a degree at all, and they will hire you. So the teacher shortage is creating a high demand for the position, but we're not pulling in quality as we should. Or there should be some kind of steps to help them, mentorship that the districts need to take ownership of, to prepare those people to be in the classroom instead of just getting a warm body in the classroom, get some quality. Because when you think about education, it's a human right, and every child deserves quality education. And if we're not giving it to them, we're setting them up for failure. And even with that, when you look at the research, if a student has 2 teachers that are 2 years of bad teachers, or 2 years of teachers that did not give them quality education, back to back, the likelihood of them catching up is nil. So we're putting all of these people in to get those bodies in, to make sure we don't overcrowd classrooms, and the classrooms are overcrowded. And parents, they don't really understand because they have their own issues going on. They don't see those intricacies in the school systems where sometimes there are 30 kids in a classroom.
Right.
So basically you're babysitting. There's no way you can provide quality education. But because there's a shortage, you have no choice. And then some schools, they are pulling in aides. So they'll have 30, 40 kids in the classroom, pull in an aide and say, okay, we got 2 adults in there, but that's not quality.
Right.
Babysitting. And at this point, we had a pandemic, we have a learning gap.
Right.
We have a lot to catch up on. So we really need a lot of quality teachers in the classroom, which means we probably need to grow our own. There's not too many people trying to recruit teachers. Kids don't really feel like teaching is a viable career. And so sometimes I go in and I volunteer for a career day to share with students. I show them the teacher salary. And they'll look, teachers make that much. I said, yeah, they can make that much, but you're going to work for it. I said, however, that one of the drawbacks is you have to a lot of work that you have to do during the school year, but you have your summers off to regroup. You have every major holiday off. You have your weekends off. With some of these professions that you get, you don't have that luxury of being off on the weekends. You don't have that luxury of having the summers to go back and recharge. We also have lack of minority representation in the schools. The kids need to see people that look like them. They need to have people that can relate to them, that they can glean from. And I'm not saying that you cannot teach if you're not a particular culture, but have a bonding. We have a commonality with each other, that the kids need to see more minority representation as well as men representation. When you go into a elementary school, the majority of the teachers are female.
Okay.
So all they see is the female teacher and a male janitor.
Oh,
and a male PE teacher. So what kind of subliminal messages are we sending students when they don't have a teacher in the early years of their education?
I understand.
Reading, if they're not reading on grade level, by 3rd grade, the likelihood of them catching up is not good. So early childhood has to be our crust of helping kids to get to where they need to be. And then a lot of times we don't build that true partnership with parents. We don't make them feel welcome. We talk down to them. But if we really want the parents actively involved, what parent don't want their child to be successful? We really want them actively involved. We would be more open. We would try more non-conventional ways to get parents involved. Some school districts, they will have parent meetings at a pizza place. Some parents have drive-by meetings and put learning materials in the schools so that parents can just come and pick it up at their leisure. They have workshops. Parents as teachers is one of the most powerful tools that early childhood parents, and it's free. And a lot of parents don't take advantage of it. An educator will come to your house, provide those early year training for students, get them prepared to transition into school. Think about that early year. The kids, by the time they're 3 years old, 80% of their brain is formed. So if we don't get them in those early stages of education and get them involved and motivated, then we're losing out. And not saying it's impossible for them to catch up, but likelihood it's going to take a lot of patience. It's teamwork. And the thing that parents have to realize that education, you are the first teacher. So it starts at home.
Man, you you did everything. Thank you. Outstanding. I agree with you. Check for sure. You get 100. Outstanding. All right. So so as far as student engagement, how would you assess that right now? I did some subbing when we first have been here in Dallas for now 10 years, and I did do some subbing in a couple of school districts here too. So it was interesting to do a comparison contrast from St. Louis to here, and I did see some cultural differences, of course, with there more Latinos here. So that was an interesting dynamic that I had to learn from being here as well. So how would you say the students being engaged in their education, how is that kind of shaping up?
I would say it's all about relationships.
Okay.
Kids will not let you teach them if they feel like you don't like them. Yeah. So learning is tied to the affective domain of the brain. It's tied to your emotions. So if you don't get that emotional connection with the students, getting them beyond a name and a number and actually getting to know them, the likelihood of them responding positively to you is not good. So you have to establish that relationship with them. One thing the students are finding is that you can't just talk to them. Some teachers just want to lecture because that's comfortable.
Okay.
I can talk to you, but you think about it. Kids remember 90% of what they do and 10% of what you tell them. It's the same way with our kids. Instead of telling them all the time, you have to show them. Right. You have to show them. And when you teach them how to fish, they become fishermen of men, and they can survive when you teach them how to think. Right. So we have to teach them that. And then we have to show them relevancy in what we're teaching them in school. How it connects to the real world, how you are going to use that skill when you get into your careers. Right. We teach things in isolation to our kids, and we don't make connections. So when we teach skills in isolation for students, they don't make those learning connections, and it goes into their short-term memory. So when it's in a short-term memory, they're not going to get it, but you have to show them how to make those connections. How is what you're teaching me at school connected to the real world? Right. How is what I'm doing at school connected to what I see my parents do? Because what you see, and again, going back to parents, what they see you doing at home, if you're on the cell phone all the time, that's what they're going to be. But if they see you picking up a book and they see you reading it, then they're going to say, oh, it's something important about reading because mama's doing it at home or daddy's doing it at home. We used to see our parents reading the newspaper. We don't have newspapers that much now, but if the kids could see the parents, you are the first teacher that your children have. So if they see that reading and learning is important to you, not you just telling them to do it, then it becomes more relevant to them, and then it helps them to do it. I have a passion for learning more so after I had my children. When I first had my children and they were in school, I was still in school learning about education. So my daughter asked me, Mama, my teacher said, could you read to me? And I said, read to you? Why do I need to read to you? You're in school. I'm not in school. Okay. I can't believe that came out of my mouth. Now I am so embarrassed with that, but that was my mentality at that point.
I understand.
Yeah, but as I became to learn about reading. That reading starts off with oral. So have those conversations with your little ones. Talk to them. Tell them WINDO, window. Go color purple on them. When you do that, you're exposing them to language. Language comes first.
Right.
Then learning comes. You're setting those prerequisites, and you're setting your the students' context in their brain to make those connections. So you have to have conversations with your kids when they get home from school. What did you do at school today?
Right.
I ate lunch. What did how was school today? Good. Make them explain what was good about it.
Right.
Tell me more.
What did you learn? Yeah, right.
Tell me more.
Right.
How did you feel?
Mm-hmm.
So when you get, and the how did you feel really gets them. And the thing that that helped me make a connection with my students and to help them know that I cared about them. The one question I asked them at the beginning of the school year, tell me one thing you wish your teacher knew about you. They didn't know how to answer that at first. And then some of them would tell me, I wish my teacher knew I was smart. I wish my teacher knew I had trouble in math. That was information that I put in my database.
Right.
Database. And I knew how to work with them better because I asked them those feeling questions. How did you feel? How did you feel about it? What do you think? How do you know? I didn't tell them everything. I taught them to be those critical thinkers and be those problem solvers, because that's what we need when we get old and I go to the nursing home. I don't need you asking me what's wrong with me. I need you to be able to tell me. I need to treat you right so you can treat me right. I can live a long, prosperous life.
Right. I agree. Oh my God. Yeah, critical thinking, is so important, especially in today's context of what we're dealing with socially and politically and so many trajectories of our life. I mean, critical thinking, I find myself using more critical thinking skills today than I have like before COVID, for real, because I guess we're so that time of isolation and concern and things of that nature. For me, it's heightened my critical thinking skills or something. It is very important. It's very important. But you touched on the parent engagement part that I think is key too. And I know I was at Ferguson Florissant School District at McCoy South Berkeley before we moved here to Texas. And we did some innovative things with the PTO. I was an intervention specialist and collaborated with the PTO president and her vice president. And we did some powerful things. Like you said, you have to be innovative, so we made sure that we integrated like PTO meetings where we had the band perform, we had various auxiliaries performing, that kind of thing, because usually what happens is parents are going to come see their children perform. And then we infuse some tips on how to make their child even more successful in school, in the midst of what we did on the agenda, So are you seeing a greater emphasis on parents getting involved, or educators coming up with ways to get parents more involved, or what are you seeing?
I'm seeing parents are getting involved as much as they can.
I got you.
But working, that we have non-traditional families, non-traditional hours. So I think the parents are doing the best that they can to support their kids.
Right.
But like you said, it's when you bring in those things that the parents will more than likely attend. And then sometimes if you make the kids excited too,
yes,
they will be the best salesperson that you have.
That's a good point. Yeah. Mom, I need you to come, Yep.
I would have a pizza party if your parents come.
Right.
Party, we're going to have a pizza party. What do you guys want? What are your goals? My goal is I need your parents to come.
Exactly. I like that. So what would it take for for your parent to come up here, what we need to do, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that approach. That's cool. Okay. All right. So, anything else you'd like to add that you think that would help or give folks some insight on what we could do or what we should be doing or anything like that?
Yeah. So everything is not bleak. It's not hopeless. There is always hope. One, because there's God.
There's that.
Two, there is hope because the human spirit is very resilient.
Amen.
We can come back. We like that bouncing ball. We can come back from a setback.
Yes, indeed.
But it takes strategic help.
Okay.
Libraries are free. How many kids go to the library? How many kids actually have a library card? That's free. That's free work. If your kids want to play videos, they have to read a book. If your kids want to do anything, they have to do something educational. So you give them 20 minutes education, give them an hour of free time. So you have to earn those things instead of just being given that free time where your mind is idle. Exactly. So an idle mind is somebody's workshop, and it is not education's.
Right. Good point. Oh man, awesome. So you said have you written a book or written some books or something too?
I've written a book. It was called From the Projects to a PhD. I grew up in the Pure Igo downtown. Right. And that was number one. And then my granddaughter was struggling with writing, and the teacher kept telling her she couldn't write. So she and I co-wrote a book with her. And it became a number one bestseller on a children's book on Amazon. So she has 2 books out. I did that because I wanted her to build her confidence up. So we started doing some writing at home to build her confidence up, and we were doing the writing process. And then so she got so happy with it, she started drawing pictures and trying to illustrate it, sharing it with family members, and it became something that she really enjoyed. So one of the books, it was really a good Life and Time of a Curious Kid. So we published that. She helped me pick out the illustration. The second book, Life and Time of a Dancer, she picked that title out, and she picked the pictures out. She picked the illustration. She was very hands-on and very critical with what she wanted the book to represent and how she wanted to represent. Those books can be found on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I can be found on social media. You can just type in Dr. Vanessa Howard or Dr. V. Howard. Our books are, again, everywhere books are sold, Walmart's, Targets, anywhere. If you want to connect with me on social media, Dr. V. Howard, Dr. Vanessa Howard.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Howard, for being with us in the Empower Room. I get so empowered with when I have educators, for sure. I'm not saying that's not the case with everybody that comes on the show, but my dad was an educator in St. Louis Public Schools for 40 years. He was a principal, elementary school principal. So there's that, there's something about that that's in my heart. He's gone on to be with the Lord. But I just have a heart for sure for educators. I want to thank you so much for what you do, and keep doing what you do. And I've seen you some years back in action, and I know what you can do. So grateful that you took the time out to come into the Empower Room with us on today, and I pray you have a blessed rest of the day and enjoy your summer and your future endeavors, and God's continued blessings upon you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, definitely. Okay, you take care now.
All right.
All righty.
Bye.
All right, so that was Dr. Vanessa Howard, and you can see information on how you can reach out to her through her email address that will be scrolling here in just a minute. Please reach out to her if you are interested in learning more about her educational consulting that she is doing across the country. So a wonderful dialogue, and hope you glean something of empowering as it relates to education. Maybe you may have found something that might be beneficial to your own children or whatever. So grateful for her being on with us on today. So that was our consciousness area there. So now we're going to move on to culture. All right. So in relation to culture, with this being a Summer Breeze series that we're doing, just kind of highlighting different locations you may want to consider traveling or learning more about. And there's this place that I think is really interesting in Charleston, South Carolina, that I would recommend that you may want to explore in South Carolina, and it's the International African American Museum in Charleston, South Carolina. It's new, from what I understand. It's been, I think, in operation for maybe 2 years now. But there is also the email, the website address if you want to get more information about that location. My wife and I have been blessed to go to Charleston, South Carolina, and I felt a spiritual draw to Charleston, South Carolina. It's has a rich history as it relates to slavery, and had the opportunity to attend a couple of tours there of plantations that they have there. And the experience was very moving. We were constantly reminded wherever you may walk, it's a possibility that you're walking on the bodies of those that were enslaved throughout the part of Charleston, South Carolina that we were in. And it was so impactful that we went before COVID, that we're going to go back again because there's some other places that I wanted to go that we didn't get an opportunity to go to the last time we went. So looking forward to that trip, and we'll be looking forward to sharing with you our experience when we return from Charleston as well. So again, I think this is a must-see location if you're looking for something to do over the summer or the fall or whatever, or this year. It's the International African American Museum in Charleston, South Carolina. From what I understand, there's timed entry to be able to go in. So I'm sure they have so many people that are coming through that they have to time. You have to get a timed ticket from when you're able to enter. So you would need to more likely order your tickets in advance. So, but if you check out the website, check that out, and you'll be able to get more information, and encourage you to check it out. There might even be something on the internet website that you might be able to take a virtual tour. I'm not sure, but it's worth a shot. All right, so that's that on the cultural end. And then civic concerns. Again, I want to lift up in regard to the presidential debate that took place a few weeks back. How I reflect on it is I'm looking at 3.5 years over a 90-minute performance, and the 3.5 years outweigh the 90-minute performance. All right. Again, as we talked about earlier about the critical thinking, critically thinking about it, hearing the content, hearing the different issues that were discussed, I felt more information coming from Biden than I did from Trump. I heard really a lot of lies from Trump, to be honest. So when I look at it from that perspective, and then how the performance of President Biden has been since then, I'm like, hey, let's get on one accord. Let's do what we have to do to make an impact, because I believe that Project 2025 is a real concern, and we don't need that in this country. All right. So that is the civic concern. So I want to encourage you, if you're interested, to please check out our publication, In the Blink of an Eye, which is available on Amazon.com. And this is a testimonial, if you will, of an experience I had taking my wife out to see Frankie Beverly and Mace in St. Louis, Missouri. And unfortunately, I was not able to attend because I literally had a sudden death heart attack. All right. So that's what this book is all about. Tells you the story, the journey of what I experienced, the spiritual journey that I took. And it has really been impactful to a lot of folk that have purchased the book on Amazon, and want to thank all those that have. And we're excited and have some book signings coming up, one here in Fort Worth in September. We're going to Houston in October. We'll have a booth at the Black Book Festival in Houston, Texas in October, and looking to set up a couple of more as well over that period of time. So excited about that. So I want to encourage you to be mindful of that. And also, we will have a special publication of our Examiner Quarterly. This was our first issue, and if you don't recognize this beautiful young lady, this is Sarah Collins Rudolph, and she was the 5th little girl in the Baptist church in Alabama that was bombed that survived. And she's a beautiful lady, and have had the opportunity to interview her and have her on with us in the Empower Room, and just a lovely, lovely spirit. And so grateful to feel that I know her, and have met her and all that. So her and her husband. So thank you again. And be looking out for our special election edition coming out in September as well. And we're looking for contributors, writers, and advertisers as well. And that information is available on our website as well, as far as anyone that might be interested in advertising in our special publication for the election. So please check us out on that. All right. So we thank you all so much for being with us in the Empower Room, and we want to lift up the family of Qualisha Jones, where we are supporting the hashtag Justice for Quincy McMillan. Unfortunately, he was tragically killed in Phoenix, Arizona, and we, understand, she is still his murder is still under investigation there in Phoenix, and there's not been much change in regard to what happened. So this has been some months back now, for at least 6 months, I would say now, and we're still waiting on, hoping someone will come forward. Ms. Jones is doing fundraisers to provide money for anyone who come forward, to be able to provide them with a reward with them coming forward. And her email address is there for you to email her if you would like to support the family. Please check out the email address, write down the email address, shoot her an email, and link your support. She would greatly appreciate it very much. I had the pleasure of knowing Quincy when I was an intervention specialist at McCool South Berkeley High School, an outstanding young man. And this has been a real serious blow to his mom and the family and his brothers and his dad. So please, let's keep them continuously in our prayers, and let's support and let's spread this hashtag Justice for Quincy McMillan. All right. All right. Thank you very much. And we look forward to having you all on next week in the Empower Room. And we will continue our summer breeze with some wonderful panel on next week on why vote. All right. That's what we're going to be talking about next week, with some powerful Black women from our community on why vote. Why vote. All right. So we look forward to having you all back with us on next week, and pray that you have a blessed rest of the day. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page, send an emoji, send your comments. We really would appreciate it. And we look forward to having you all back with us on next week. All right. God bless. And don't forget to do something.
Thank you for joining us in the Empower Room. Hope you have received some impactful information. Please like or leave a comment. See you next week in the Empower Room, brought to you by Empower Media LLC and your host, Reverend Timothy Hughes, aka Rev T.